For this discussion, we will talk about music and its elements. So, music. It is the art combining sounds of varying pitch to produce a coherent composition that is melodious, harmonious, intelligible, and expressive of ideas and emotion. So ngayon, pag-uusapan natin ang patungkol sa music. Mas madali siguro nating malalaman kung ano ang music kung alam natin ang pagkaiba ng music at sound. So, ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng music at sound? So, sound is produced when an object vibrates. So, sa madaling salita, napoproduce ang isang sound when an object vibrates. Example, the guitar. Yan. And palakpak. Iba naman yun sa music. Ano naman ang music? Sinasabi dito, it is arranged and organized sound. Sa madaling salita, maayos. Ano naman ang kabaliktaran ng music? Noise or ingay. It is an arranged and organized sound. Ipapaano naman nagiging organized or arranged ang isang music? So dito na pumapasok ang elements of music na siyang dahilan kung bakit nagiging arranged and organized ang isang music. So first, pag-uusapan natin ngayon ang pitch. Pitch, the relative highness or lowness of a sound. So, it is a term we use to describe how high or slow sounds are. All sounds caused by vibration. Halimbawa nito, nabanggit mo nga kanina na gitara. And second, we have volume or intensity. The loudness of or softness of a sound. The volume sounds louder when a signal bells out compared to the volume when a simply whisper. So, sinasabi dito kung gaano kalakas ang isang sounds or gaano kahina. Ang mga Italian terms na ginagamit dito to describe how high or slow the sounds. First, we have pianismo, which means very soft, and piano, soft. Fortissimo, very loud. Forte, loud. Yeah. And third, we have tempo or rate. The speed of composition of any of its section. Ballads have a slow tempo. Various dance songs have fast rate. Sinasabi dito, how fast or slow. May mga Italian terms na ginagamit to describe the tempo of a music. So, first we have allegro, fast, vivace, lively, moderato, moderate speed, andante, moderate slow, adagio, lower than andante, lento or slow, largo, very slow. So, it is a term that we describe the tempo of a music. So, ang tempo din ang nabibigay ng emosyon sa music, kagaya kapag mabagal, which means malungkot, and pag mabilis, masaya. So, fourth, we have duration. The length of a time during which sound is produced. Some sounds are longer than the others. So, sinasabi naman dito, ang haba ng musika o ang oras kung gaano ito katagal. So, panglima, we have timbre or tone color. Yan. The quality of a sound that makes it distinct from the other sound. Thus, a listener can distinguish the voices of Regine Velasquez, Jaya, John Gibbs, and Ogie Alcacid. Likewise, he can recognize the sound of a flute, a guitar, a drum, and a piano. So, it is a sound that distinguish one instrument from another. So, instrument yon. Paano naman? May tinatawag din tayong vocal timbre, the quality of a sound or tone color. That we have highest female voice, we call it soprano, and lowest female voice, we have alto. And sa highest male voice naman, we have tenor. And lowest voice to male naman, we have bass. And number 6, we have rhythm, the consistent pattern or succession of identical or similar sound. This is illustrated by the succession of similar sound in a song as follows: introduction, stanza, stanza 1, chorus, refrain, stanza 2, chorus, refrain, coda, and conclusion. So rhythm, it is a time or element of music. Kasama ng rhythm sa kanyang hanay yung beat na may kaugnayan sa bilis o bagal. Ang beat naman ang bibigay buhay sa musika na tinatawag din natin itong pulse of the music. Yan, so makes sense, di ba? So number 7, we have melody, the series of consecutive tones that vary in pitch and duration, but form a line of individual significance and expressive value. It is an orderly succession of tones and musical sounds. It is one remembered by a listener on the one who whistle or hums, especially when he does not know the lyrics. Yan, melody. It is a series of notes connected together to express one idea, a succession of single notes. Yan. Number 8, we have harmony, the simultaneous sounds of 2 or more tones. When 3 or more tones are sounded simultaneously, there exists a chord. Harmony is when 2 or more notes are combined together para makabuo ng mas magandang sound. Next, we have texture, the number of tones expected to be apprehended simultaneously. Sinasabi naman dito na kapag pinagsama-sama natin ang HMR and timbre, ay makakabuo tayo ng texture. And namanggit ko na HMR, we call it harmony, melody, and rhythm. And yun. And we have 3 basic texture sa music. That first, we have monophonic, sound of a single melodic line without an accompaniment. And polyphonic, simultaneous sounding of 2 or more melodic lines of relative equal interest. Homophonic, sounding of one mainly melody supported by a subordinate one, as it performance of a folk singer with a guitar accompaniment. So monophonic, we call it mono, that which means a single melodic line. Yan. So poly, we have 2, which means, and the last is form. So the overall organization of the composition, it is associated with shape, structure, and coherence. All musical elements are put together to come up with a cohesive whole called form. And ang form ay mahalaga sa pagbuo ng music dahil tinutukoy kung paano binuo ang isang piraso ng musika mula sa magkakaugnay na seksyon, kagaya ng pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga bahagi at pagkakaulit at pagbabago. Yan, so that's it.
Kinds of music. According to Boethius, the most elegant music writer of the Middle Ages, there are 3 types of music. These are musica mundana, music created by the orderly relationships found among the planets in changing season of the world. Musica mundana, or the harmony of the spheres, is an ancient philosophical concept that describes the music produced by the movements of celestial bodies. Number 2, Musica humana, the music created by human beings by the unity of the body and the soul. Musica humana, meaning music of the human body, is a fascinating concept that explores the internal rhythms and vibration of the human body as a form of music. It's not literal music we hear with our ears, but a metaphorical representation of the harmony within us. Number 3. Musica instrumentalis, the music created by musical instruments. Musical instrumentalis, one of the three branches of music outlined by Boethius in his influential work De Musica, represent the music we experience in our everyday lives. The sounds created by instruments and singers, it stands in contrast to musica mundana, the harmony of the spheres, and musica humana, the music of the human body. While those two branches explore the cosmic and internal aspects of music. 3 classifications of music. Number 1. Vocal music. Music produced by the voice of singers. The singing is done without the accompaniment of music instruments. It is rendered a cappella. Vocal music is the art of creating music using the human voice. It encompasses a vast and diverse range of styles from classical opera to contemporary pop, folk, and traditional music from around the world. Number 2. Instrumental music. The music is produced by musical instruments. It is exemplified by an orchestra performing without a soloist or a group of singers. Instrumental music, a vibrant and diverse genre, refers to music created using instruments without the human voice. It encompasses a vast array of styles and genres, from classical orchestra to rock bands, jazz ensembles, and electronic music producers. Number 3. Mixed music or mixed ensemble. A combination of vocal music and instrumental music. It is usually performed in mass requiem, mass opera, oratorio, and cantata. Even a symphony orchestra may employ a vocal soloist or a chorus. Mixed music, also known as mixed ensemble music, refers to musical performances that combine both vocal and instrumental elements. This creates a rich and layered soundscape where the human voice interacts with a variety of instruments to create a unique blend of textures, harmonies, and rhythms.
Ensemble. Music rendered by a group of performers, singers, and or player of musical instrument. Classification of ensemble. Based on the number of performance and types of musical instrument used, ensemble are classified into the following.
Classifications of ensemble. Number 1. Orchestra. The most spectacular of ensembles because of its large size. Orchestra, the largest and most spectacular ensemble, usually with over 50 musicians. It's typically led by a conductor and divided into 4 sections: strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussions. Number 2. Symphony Orchestra. So, the symphony orchestra, a specific type of orchestra with around 100 musicians. It includes all the main instrument types divided into 4 sections, each covering the full range of musical pitches: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Number 3. Concerto. So that concerto, a musical piece written for an orchestra, but featuring a solo instrument like a piano, violin, or cello. Number 4. Band. So the band, an ensemble similar in size to an orchestra, but primarily using wind and percussion instrument. Bands often perform in concert halls, but also outdoor events like parades, funeral, or sporting events. The term band can also refer to smaller groups with a soloist, drummers, guitarists, and keyboardists, or even just a small group of singers. Number 5. Rondalia. Rondalia, a traditional Filipino ensemble using string instruments like the bandurria, laud, octavina, guitarra, and banjo. It's a popular and well-known musical group in the Philippines. Number 6. Chamber Orchestra. A chamber orchestra is slightly smaller ensemble than a full orchestra, but larger than a chamber ensemble. Number 7. Chamber Ensemble. A chamber ensemble is a small musical group with 1 to 9 musicians. Chamber music is named based on the number of instruments. Number 1. Solo sonata. First instrument, duo. Second instrument, trio. Third instrument, quartet. Fourth instrument, quintet. 5 instruments, sextet. 6 instrument, septet. 7th instrument, octet. 8th instrument, nonet. 9th instrument. This is a 9 musicians. Number 8. Special ensemble. A special ensemble, any ensemble that doesn't fit into the previous categories. Example include family ensembles, musicians related by family, ensembles using electronic instruments and media instead of traditional instruments.
Medium in music. Number 1, vocal media. Ang vocal media ay may mga natatanging uri ng boses para sa kalalakihan at kababaihan. Para sa mga lalaki, may 3 pangunahing register na ang bass na siyang pinakamababa at may malalim na tunog. Bariton ang nasa gitna at madalas ginagamit sa kanyang versatility. At tenor ang pinakamataas at madalas na nakakaantig at ng damdamin. Bukod dito may baso profundo na ang pinakamatindi at pinakamababang register para sa mga lalaki. Sa mga babae naman, mayroon din 3 uri ng boses. Ang alto na pinakamababa at madalas na mainit at malalim ang tunog. Mezzo-soprano na nasa gitna at flexible. At soprano ang pinakamataas at karaniwang maliwanag at matindi ang tunog. Sa loob ng soprano may koloratura. Soprano na nakakapot ng pinakamataas na nota at may kakayahan para sa mabilis na paglipat ng nota, kaya't madalas itong ginagamit sa opera. Number 2, instrumental media. Tumutukoy ito sa mga instrumentong tinutugtog ng mga musikero na kalimitan ay kasama sa isang orkestra. Ang mga instrumentong ito ay may iba't ibang klase tulad ng string, woodwind, brass at percussion. Bawat section ay nagdadala ng kakaibang tunog. Mula sa mainit na tunog ng string, malinaw na tunog ng brass, hanggang sa mga mapupukaw na tambol at percussion at nagbibigay ng mas makulay at mas malalim na karanasan sa pakikinig ng musika.
4 classifications of musical instruments. Number 1. String or string instruments. As their name suggests, have strings which are either plucked or bowed. Pluck strings. Guitars, ukulele, banjos, mandolins, harps, erstwhile lyres. Bowed string. Violins, violas, violoncellos or cellos, and double basses or contrabasses. Ang mga instrumentong ito ay umaasa sa mga umuugoy na kwerdas upang makabuo ng tunog, kasama sa mga halimbawa ang mga gitara, violin at piano. Wind instruments, as their name suggests, require wind to produce sound, so they are blown based on the materials that are used to create them. They are classified into woodwind instruments and brass instruments. Example: woodwind instruments: piccolos, flutes, oboes, English horns, clarinets, bass clarinets, bassoons, and contrabassoons. Ang tunog ay nililikha sa pamamagitan ng mga umuugoy na haligi ng hangin sa loob ng mga instrumentong ito, kasama sa mga limbawan ng mga fluta, trompeta at clarinet. 3. Percussion instruments. These instruments are beaten or struck. They come in variety of forms, like drums, kettle drums, snare drums, side drums, etc. Glockenspiel, xylophones, marimbas, gongs, cymbals, triangles, and chimes belong to this group. Ginagamit ang mga instrumentong ito ang mga nakaunat na lamad na umuugoy upang makabuo ng tunog. Ang mga tambol, tambourine, at timpani ay mga halimbawa. And the last, keyboard instruments, as their name suggests, have keys where are pressed to produce the desired sounds. They include the piano, the organ, the celesta, the piano accordion, and the harmonium. Ang mga instrumentong mismo ay umuugoy upang makabuo ng tunog, kasama sa mga halimbawa ang mga xylophone, cymbal, at kampana. Ang mga instrumentong ito ay sistemang pag-uuri na ito ay nagbibigay ng isang balangkas para sa pag-uunawa sa iba't ibang paraan ng paglikha ng tunog at kung paano ang iba't ibang instrumento ay nag-aambag sa musical na ekspresyon.